Hey everyone, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for another daily market recap. Today is Friday, December 18th. Hope everyone had a great week. And just before we jump into the content, make sure to have a great weekend. It was a busy week. We got a lot to cover today. And in today's video, we're going to discuss Tesla's downgrade that just came out today and Microsoft planning to design their own chips. This video is going to be a little bit longer today as we have the end of the week. Today was quad witching, so we had SPY dividend and a little bit of an artificial inflation or adjustment in price. And just bear with me as I cut my thumb in the kitchen last night pretty bad, and it's pretty sore and it's pretty hard to type and navigate, but yeah, like I said, just bear with me. So before we jump into any charting, we'll go through some news and events. If you're new to the channel, we jump through any market moving headlines and then we jump into an overall view of the market. So crypto, gold, metals, and then the broader sector like S&P 500 and the tech sector, etc. And then we jump into some individual analysis and a summary on the week ahead. So before we jump into the content, make sure to smash like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. So first on the list, we have government shutdown looks more likely as Congress fails to strike funding on the new relief deal. So they're talking about potentially extending it a couple of days into the weekend. So we'll continue to monitor that. But the S&P 500 popped into the end of the day. So it looks like we could potentially see it dragging on a little bit longer. Republican senators spar over whether or not a $1,200 stimulus checks are necessary in this round of funding. Direct payments of $600 per person are reportedly part of the new aid package, but a lot of citizens and Americans are saying that that's just despicable. Certain senators are pushing for those payments to be $1,200 instead, much like the first round. And on Friday, 2 Republican senators squared off in a debate. Are those checks necessary? Let me know in the comments below if you think they're necessary. Are they necessary to your bank account? Millions will lose jobless benefits temporarily, even if Congress reaches a stimulus deal. So there's a lot of uncertainty right now in terms of, you know, the average American and just very uncertain times at the moment. So hopefully things start to keep trending in the same direction and things are improving. So we'll continue to monitor and check back there. Tesla shares downgraded by CFRA as hot stock loses massive index fund buying tailwinds. So we have S&P joining Tesla joining the S&P on Monday and next week. So likely just some profit taking as well into the end of a potential sell the news event, I think, which is why we saw this. And then obviously people building short positions, but Tesla had a huge pop into the end of the day. So obviously not that great for shorts, but Tesla drew a downgrade from Wall Street during Friday afternoon, trading in its last day outside of the S&P 500. CFRA cuts its rating on Tesla equity to hold from strong buy and advised its clients that much of the bullish case is behind the electric car maker. Tesla's addition to the S&P 500. So I don't actually see here what the downgrade price was. See if we can, I don't actually pay for their service. You know what the price is on the downgrade, let me know. This one looks like December 11th. That one's old. Yeah, let me know in the comments below if you've seen the price that it was downgraded. I guess they probably didn't give a target price. I guess they just downgraded it from hold to buy. So that's likely what happened there. So that's likely what it is. It's just they're changing their stance from strong buy to hold. So we'll see if Tesla is a sell the news event going into next week. Again, let me know in the comments below whether or not you think Tesla is going to continue to push higher into next week, or will we see some more FOMO, or will we see a potential sell the news event? Love to hear from you. So Intel falls on report that Microsoft plans to design its own chips for PCs and servers. And this comes just after Apple started to design its own chips, so not completely surprising here. And AMD also got whacked when that news came out into the end of the day as well. Intel shares dropped as much as 6% on Friday afternoon after Bloomberg report Microsoft plans to design its own chips for its Surface laptops and desktops, as well as its servers. Intel has famously had a long-running partnership with Microsoft as the primary processor maker for Windows PCs. So pretty bearish for Intel and AMD. May even hurt Apple, but I highly doubt it. as Apple's like more focused on retail. So BlackBerry banks on new partnerships amid falling sales. So they were less than impressive, their earnings, and the stock is pretty beat up. We also saw that Canadian cannabis sales grow to nearly 245 million in August. And I think that was an old article, actually. They grew, I think it was 290 million. Let's just bring it up here. I had the article. Sorry about that, guys. I had it up here. I'm not sure where it went. Just do a quick Google. That was the August one. I did see the new cannabis ventures October cannabis sales. There we go. Canadian cannabis sales increased 109% in October to 270 million, so up from 245 million that we saw back in August. So that's what it was. I brought that up because I wanted to show the comparison, but I forgot to bring up the new article. So 245 million in August, and then as of October, it was 270 million. Statistics Canada released October retail sales for the country this morning, so it gives you an idea of how fast this industry is growing in Canada, with cannabis sales growing increasingly sequentially off of the revised higher September level and accelerating annual growth of 109.4%. Sales of 270 million grew 5.1% from September. And there's the graph of the trend just continuing to increase. Highfire IQ had forecast sales of 265 million based upon its data. The data analytics provider has been estimating November growth to be 7%, below its October forecast, which would be 9% lower than the actual October sales level. So you can check this out for a little bit more in-depth numbers on that, but definitely some positive momentum in Canada. We also saw cannabis MSO Acreage Farms names former top Pfizer executives. So from the biotech company, the previous executive as its CEO. Not completely surprising, going from biotech to a pharmaceutical company and a cannabis company. So found that extremely interesting. We also had SPY dividend, monthly options expiry, and so quad witching all today. So that's why we had SPY with a little bit of a different price than SPX 500 USD. And we had just some overall volatility in the market today. So we'll go over some charts here. We'll start off with Bitcoin and the crypto space. So we were consolidating, and we are currently bouncing on hopes that the stimulus deal is going to get extended into the weekend, and we could potentially see an approval on that before next week. So I'm still in a XRP Ripple position, but we'll take a look at Bitcoin here on the daily. So we have a daily inside bar on watch. So most important resistance is going to be the all-time high, 23,776, and this is on Coinbase, and support down at 21,252. So whichever way we break this daily inside bar, that's going to dictate whether or not we see more momentum to the upside or if we start daily consolidation. We'll also want to see a loss of the 4-hour uptrend to be confident that the daily consolidation is underway and that we could see a significant pullback. But we did lose the low here, 23,109, 23,068, but no follow through. So we zoom out. Could be a potential bull flag at this point as well. So could be a potential 4-hour bull flag. It is holding EMA 12. So we'll continue to monitor that. That's going to be the most important chart right now, in my opinion, is the 4-hour. So that's where we stand on Bitcoin. We are getting a little extended here. Obviously, we're daily overbought, weekly overbought. Weekly RSIs getting up there, almost at 90 at 87. But we have started the parabolic ascent, and you don't want to fight these blue sky bulls, especially when it comes to Granddaddy Bitcoin. So overbought on the monthly. Personally, I do think that we could hit 25,000 before we actually top out. That's my target level right now. And like I said, I have a XRP position that I've been accumulating. So if we take a look at the daily chart here, you can see we were consolidating on the daily, and bulls got a decent bounce here that jumped about 50%, almost 50% here in a couple of days. So that was a huge monster move. And again, why I was picking Ripple and XRP as my horse over Bitcoin. So obviously a huge bounce. I sold at 65 cents, and then I've been re-entering. I entered again at 60. I think I entered again at 62, 60, and 58. And another one at, I think it was 56. So about every couple cents there, I was averaging down and averaging in. And we also have a daily inside bar on XRP to be watching as well. But difference here between Bitcoin and XRP, let's take a look at the weekly chart on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has already set its weekly high or low and is trending towards resistance. Sorry, that's the dominance chart. So Bitcoin has already set a mini weekly high or low into a higher high. And if we take a look at XRP, XRP is still trying to find its weekly high or low. So that's why I entered on this EMA 12 support test essentially here, and looking for Ripple to do much of the same, to break into a new higher high. And if that were to occur from that low, you'd be looking at about an 80 to 100% move. So that's why I'm being a little bit more aggressive with the XRP chart. So essentially looking for that to happen, we need to change the daily trend though, to be absolutely confident that that weekly high or low is set. If we break to a higher high here, it's going to be a little bit extended, but bulls will want to get as big of a bounce on the daily as they possibly can so that they can form a higher low into a higher high and confirm the uptrend. So all about the daily inside bar and the daily trend right now on XRP. So moving on, we'll take a look at SPY. So again, this was the end of the week. And we finished with a little bit of a doji there on the week. And we did break to an all-time high this week. So we'll see if we start weekly consolidation next week. SPY is going to have Tesla included in the S&P next week as well. So we'll see if that adds some implied volatility. But taking a look at the daily chart here, you can see that we started daily consolidation, breaking the low of yesterday. We tried to bounce off EMA 12, and it looks like we did. We had a lower wick and closed above it here into the end of the day. So we'll just look to change the hourly trend back to the bulls. And once we confirm an hourly uptrend, then we can be confident that the daily consolidation is finished on SPY. So QQQ on the week, closed green, new all-time high this week. Continues to blast off on the daily chart again. Daily consolidation lost the low of yesterday. Still a possible daily bull flag at this point. So that's where we stand. Just take a look at the end of the day here. I do want to go through these as quickly as possible, but you can see here we're in a 5-minute downtrend, and we hit 5-minute oversold on QQQ. SPY was just barely hit 5-minute oversold. So when SPY and QQQ both hit 5-minute oversold, that was the go signal, and we just rocket shipped into the end of the day. But SPY did have a mini higher low here and higher high, but not much of a pivot. So wouldn't really be 100% confident that the 5-minute trend change, if you wanted to consider that a 5-minute trend change, I wouldn't argue with you. But personally, I think we're going to pull back here and test the 369, 368 level once again before we blast off to higher highs. QQQ, again, monster move into the end of the day, didn't change the 5-minute trend. So we are going to want to change the 5-minute trend as the first step. Then we'll zoom out to the 15 and then the hourly. And again, need to change that hourly trend to be confident that the daily high or lows are set. So taking a look at the dollar here on the hourly, consolidating lower high at every candle essentially here for 6 or 7 candles, trying to form a base of support here off the EMA support. And if we take a look at the daily bear flag was confirming, which we've been highlighting on this channel for a while now, and monthly bear flag confirming. We do have support down at 88.25, so most important levels going to be down there. But bulls not really proving anything right now. We're daily oversold, and this could be the potential start of that daily oversold bounce. But we also have EMA 12 and 26 to battle with once we get bouncing as well. So keep in mind, though, that we could see a huge bounce and a little bit of a a potential squeeze in the dollar if Bitcoin tops out, if stocks start to consolidate next week and gold and metals consolidate. It could be a perfect storm for the dollar where it's approaching monthly support, which is the lowest that this RSI levels have been in years. And we do know that it's extended to the downside, and we should expect a daily bounce at some point in the near future. So that's where we stand on the dollar. Taking a look into IWM, closed red, about 0.5% down. Didn't break the low of yesterday, so standing out stronger than QQQ and SPY. Taking a look at SMH, the semiconductors. So coming off that news of Microsoft, not surprising that we're pulling back, but looks like we're in a daily equilibrium with the high, low, lower high. So we'll see if we continue this tightening range. Looking to bounce off EMA 12 support there. And we need to change that hourly trend back to the bulls. Did have a lot of sell volume there into the day, but the bulls bought the dip and didn't see as big of a bounce as SPY and QQQ into the end of the day, but we'll see how we shape up next week. TAN, solar sector ETF, up over 3% today. New all-time high. Closed a little bit of a lower upper wick and outside of the daily Bollinger Bands, and higher low every candle for the last 9 days. So when we do pull back, we could drop a potential 20%, 15 to 20%, and still be in a daily uptrend, just looking for a daily higher low. So need to lose the hourly uptrend to be confident that the daily consolidation is going to be underway, and also need to lose the previous low of the previous daily candle. Oil up about 1.5% today, breaking to higher highs. EMA 12's been an absolute perfect visual guide here for support tests. So line in the sand is going to be EMA 12. We lose that, then we will have a huge momentum shift for the first time in a very long time on US oil, since all the way back here in first week of November or so. So silver was down more than gold today. Daily inside bar, gold daily inside bar. We have potential EMA 12 and 26 bull cross, which we highlighted yesterday. So we'll be watching those as the most important levels. XBI up over 0.5% today. A little bit of a doji there, but didn't break the low of the previous day. So biotech sector standing out a little bit stronger than QQQ and SPY as well. Same with XHB, the home builders ETF. Is that a new all-time high? Looks like it is. New all-time high, so congrats to the bulls. XLE, daily consolidation underway, lost the low into a new lower low, potentially heading down to EMA 26, which is at 38.12. XLF, financial sector, down almost 1% today. Holding EMA 12 though, we had a little bit of a lower wick, but closed just above it. And if we do continue daily consolidation next week, we'll look down to EMA 26, at the 27.97 level. But again, all about the hourly trend on most of these broader sector ETFs. We need to change that hourly trend back to an uptrend and back to the bulls to be confident that the daily higher lows are set. So that's where we stand on the overall broader market. Let's take a look at some individual stocks. So Tesla, huge bounce into the end of the day, 10% bounce in 20 minutes. So congrats to the bulls. Into the end of the day, we are selling off here about 2% after hours. Let's see if SPY's doing. SPY is up about 0.25%, so marginally there. But taking a look at Tesla on the daily, so we did have a lower wick there, bounced right off EMA 12, again, acting as a nice visual support guide, and huge, huge volume. Most volume since back here in July. So keep an eye out for a potential volume climax next week. No real signs of any major red flags yet. So bounced off EMA 12 there on the hourly as well. We closed above it on the previous candle. Huge lower wick and another lower wick. Bulls are still in full control, but we did lose the hourly uptrend. And we did have a high, low, lower high, lower low, confirmed an hourly downtrend into a higher high. We're essentially just going flat at the moment, but need to follow it up with a higher low and higher high and confirm an uptrend. But no support on the hourly down here until 628.65. So that's where we stand. We'll take a look at Airbnb, up over 7% at one point today. So huge monster move here. So again, when we broke the lower high every pattern for 4 days in a row, as soon as we broke that pattern, if you would have entered, you'd be up 25% or so from that low. So congrats to the bulls. Huge move. And EMA 12 holding on the hourly. Nice visual guide there as well. Hourly uptrend is solid. So we'll watch the hourly trend here. As soon as we lose the hourly uptrend, we'll look for daily consolidation to begin. Apple is down over 1.5% today. Again, might have been because of the Microsoft news. Let's take a look at Microsoft. Down, did a little bit better, but still red, down about 0.38%. Dash had the short report from Citron with about a $40 price target, but it's up about 8% today, which makes tons of sense. But personally, I am not interested in DoorDash. I do think that the valuation is ridiculously overpriced, and you could potentially enter on some quick flips on 5-minute oversold. That was a great entry here. Then we had some 5-minute bearish RSI divergence. We were breaking to lower lows and lower highs in the price, but the RSI was trending with higher highs and higher lows. And on that entry, you could have made a potential 15%. So that's where we stand. Let's just take a look and see. Blackberry down over 15% today. Feel bad for the bulls that were holding that. I did tell people to run for the hills, and we did form a lower high and lower low. Looks like we confirmed a downtrend. Looks like we're going to likely gap fill down here around the $6.15 mark, 6.20. So wouldn't be surprised if we see that gap fill next week. Space down over 6%. Intel, not surprising, leading the way down. DDD also getting quite extended in the oversold territory. JMIA was up over 8%. Dash, like I said earlier, almost 8%. AB&B, almost 7%. Fortinet and Tesla leading the way up today. So that's where we stand in terms of individual tickers. Let me just check here and see if there's anything else. So we'll do a quick review of the MJ sector. So I like what I'm seeing here. CGC ended the week with a little bit of a lower wick. We didn't quite get to EMA 12, so we still have EMA 12 that's been holding since the lows here at $13 since we've run over 100%. So at this point, we knew weekly consolidation was going to be coming at some point. And personally, I'm very impressed with the way that the bulls are holding up. And even in the face of SPY weakness, we didn't really see much selling in the cannabis space as a whole. USMJ held up very well today as well. So let's just take a look here. So we knew that we didn't have a weekly high or low. We had a higher low every single candle for the last 63 days. So essentially 9 weeks. And as soon as we broke the low of the previous week, we started weekly consolidation. This could still be a weekly bull flag. And keep in mind that we could pull back essentially to the 23.50. I wouldn't want to see us lose $23. If we lose $23, then the chances of a weekly bull flag are diminished significantly. But like I said, at this point, could still be a weekly bull flag, and we need to change the daily trend back to the bulls. So most important chart for me is going to be the daily. We also have EMA 12 acting as a brick wall as resistance here. So we are holding EMA 12. We're rejecting at EMA 12, but we're holding EMA 26. So we're just sandwiched right there in between those two EMAs. So again, the daily, we're consolidating on the daily, but we need to, this could be the daily high or low. We're looking for a higher low compared to 2503. If we can hold 2503, break to a higher high, then we'll be looking up to 29.52. But all about that daily trend change, and we'll look to the hourly here as well. If we can confirm an hourly trend change, we can be confident that the daily higher low is set. And then once we change the daily trend, we can be confident that the weekly higher low is set. But we are in a monthly uptrend. We do have EMA 12 looking to potentially cross bullish through EMA 26 here on the monthly, which hasn't happened since all the way back in 2016. So that would be a notable shift in momentum. We're in a monthly uptrend, weekly uptrend. So the longer term timeframes tell us to don't be afraid to buy these dips. I'm personally buying the dips in these names. I have quite a sizable position on Hexo. So Hexo closed the week with EMA 12 at 87 and EMA 26 at 86. So when 12 crosses through 26, that's what we call an EMA bull cross. And we did close with the EMA 12 over 26. So it is confirmed at the end of this week that we can expect some potential upside next week, with that being a potential bullish pattern. Let's look what happened to CGC when it had its EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. We shot up about 66%. So we'll continue to monitor that into next week. Afria was up about 2% today, I believe. So see, got a little bit of a bounce going, is up over about 4%, I think, at one point today, but rejected at EMA 12 and didn't break the previous high of the previous daily candle. So still consolidating here and need to break that previous high. So the high of today on Monday is going to be essentially the most important resistance at 788. We also have EMA 26 there as a potential bounce point. But again, APHA just looking for a weekly higher low. We're in a monthly uptrend and a weekly uptrend. And we also have EMA 12 down here at 649. So it's not a bad time to be scouting entries. And again, need to change that daily trend back to the bulls to be confident that the weekly higher low is set. But at this point, still a potential weekly bull flag as well. ACB, so Aurora, not the same setup. Low, high, higher, low. I guess that's not really a higher low. Low, high, and lower high, now trying to form a higher low. We also have EMA 12 there as support as well. And taking a look at Cron on the weekly, again, very similar to Aurora. Not considered a weekly bull flag. I guess you could potentially call this a weekly bull flag. Wouldn't want to see us lose 760 though. So we'll continue to monitor those big names. Tilray had a golden cross and potentially looks to have the weekly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross at some point in the near future as well. So potential that happens into next week or the end of the year. If not, maybe in the first start of January. So that's where we stand. Taking a look at the notable losers, NSP, PCLO. Not surprising that Pharmacello was down today, almost 10% after the huge day it had yesterday. And VLNS and APHA and Huge leading the bull move for the day today. So that's where we stand. Taking a look at the US MJ sector. So held up very well today as well in the face of SPY weakness. Acreage, CWeb, and Ian leading the way down. KBev and BioHarvest and TerraSend leading the way up. So taking a look at TrueLeave. So TrueLeave on the daily chart, we set a new all-time high today at 42.30. So most important resistance going to be 42.30 going into next week. And we are holding EMA 12 here on the daily as well. And we know that we are going to anticipate a daily higher low here at some point. So the low of today is going to be extremely important going into next week at 41.46. If we lose the low of today on Monday, then we can look for daily consolidation, and we'll want to see a loss of the hourly uptrend. So holding on to EMA 12 here on the hourly. It's been a nice support guide since back here on the 15th of December. So that's pretty much where we stand. Taking a look at Curaleaf, up over about 2.5% today. Closed it up 2.5%. It was up more than that at one point, but 1673. Is that a new all-time high? Yes, it is. So congrats to the Curaleaf Bulls, new all-time high. We'll see if the Bulls still got it into next week. But again, EMA 12, nice support, and higher low every candle for the last 4 days. So again, we'll continue to monitor that pattern, but we are going to be expecting daily consolidation at some point. Daily volume dropping off there as well. Not surprising into the end of the week. Trueleaf, bull volume dropping off and a little bit of increasing sell volume there. So could potentially see daily consolidation at some point next week, but no real red flags at this point. And we'll just take a quick look at SPY here on the weekly. So SPY still well above the 10-week moving average. Stochastic still bearish, but looking to potentially cross, still bullish, but looking to potentially cross bearish. RSI still bullish, still well above the weekly moving averages. Still above the daily moving averages, the 50, 100, and the 200 in both cases. Daily MACD is cross bearish, so we'll see if that gives us any clues into next week. But other than that, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today in today's daily market recap. Again, stimulus is going to be the focal point going into the weekend and into next week. And obviously, Tesla joining the S&P is going to create some huge volatility and massive volume, in my opinion, going into next week. So I hope you found this information valuable today. I tried to jam pack as much information into this video today as possible and as quickly as possible. So hope everyone has a great weekend, and we'll see you next week for another daily market recap on Monday. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth, and take care.